And welcome back to Pat and Go with Paul Browning on KPPF. I'm Mike Lewis, along with DJ on the ones and twos, and of course Paul Browning, the star of our show. And
I like it when you say it like that.
You are the star
that makes
of
it
the
seem. Thank you. I couldn't do any of this without you guys. I really appreciate you guys.
But you're our go-to guy.
Yeah.
Hey, man, I'm the go-to receiver, man. Throw me the ball when you need help. Throw me the ball. All right. So I think it's time. It's time for us to throw a flag. All right, so this is going to be flag on the play.
With gusto.
All right, hey, I got to. So
I want to throw a flag.
Go ahead,
Go
ahead.
Throw the flag on the Steelers. They came out flat this year.
Yeah.
They are falling apart. Sometimes as soon as the second quarter, they just don't have any answers for any team, really.
And I think Ben Roethlisberger is
Tired.
He needs to be retired. No, look. It's all jokes. It's not that bad. No, it's tough to see Ben on his decline, but it's just what happens through time. And not everybody can have the Tom Brady type of you're excelling and you're 45 years old. And not everybody gets to do that. Everybody's time comes to an end at some point, and I think Big Ben's time is coming to an end.
And we've seen over the years in all professions, but sports definitely, where someone looks out and says, I want to step aside now, and you want to step aside while you're winning.
Right.
So it's something to think about.
Yeah.
And on a high point.
There it is.
But we're doing flags on the
flag
play.
on the play. Flag on the play. No. So, Mike, I think me and you have come to a collective flag on the play.
We're going to go away from the NFL. We're staying with football, of course, and it's a local issue that's pretty big in Colorado Springs right now, and it's the Falcon High School football team.
Yeah. So there's been I know details are still coming out. Things are still developing. But with a hazing and sexual harassment, just I don't want to say scandal, but just it's going on at Falcon High School. And I wanted to throw a flag on that because even at a young age, this game of football is supposed to teach you, when it comes to being a boy, how to teach you how to be a young man, how to work together with teams. I know women play football because this is a team-building sport. It's something that everybody can learn from. Everybody can be a fan of it.
It teaches you how to meet deadlines.
Right.
Just those skills.
The skills, like football, is a microcosm of life. I've always believed that. It's the greatest sport in the world for that reason. So conduct is always a huge thing for me when it comes to football players, football coaches. We're in the spotlight, whether you like it or not. Even at the high school level, when you're the jock, you're the football player, it's kind of things are expected from you, you know? And it's unfortunate that throughout time, you get the jock is the bully, or the jock is the football player is this grandioso personality who doesn't treat anybody else good. And I think that is something that is troubling when it comes to the culture of football, and when it comes to football players and how we conduct ourselves. So it's really important. I just to voice that how should football players control themselves? How should we conduct ourselves? How do you overcome being in a locker room dealing with so much turmoil? What are your thoughts first off, just on the whole thing?
Well, again, I want to reiterate what Paul said at the beginning. This is still under investigation. It's being done by the El Paso County Sheriff's deputy. The school resource officer, I believe, at that school has been given the assignment to go ahead and interview parents, staff, coaching, and the players, of course. So as we do this segment, we want you to know we're still dealing with a lot of unknowns.
And we're still getting the whole picture.
And the football team has just been, reinstated. They're able to start playing games and participating again.
Right. So again, it's an evolving story. But, for me, what came to mind is, we're coming off COVID.
Yeah.
So that changed last year's football, obviously.
Yeah.
And then you've got a team that is suspended. And Paul, you played high school and college and NFL. What does that do to kind of shut down your season for a period of time being suspended? What does that do for the athletes and for the, going to the championship? And what if you're a senior this year and you were trying to get, you want to go to college? What does that do to you?
Yeah, it's and just putting it on top of that, you're a high schooler. You don't get that back. At least the guys who are in college, like they got that year back, So one, football is an outlet. So the high schoolers who, they may not have had football, and that was that after school thing that I needed to get into, so that I didn't get into trouble. I know Falcon is a pretty nice area, so I would think that, there's a lot of resources for the kids out there. But at the same time, you want to keep your kids busy, because if they're not busy, they're going to get into stuff, right? Learn that from when they're little, right?
I still have that problem.
I am a grown man, and if I have nothing to do, I will get in trouble. No, but that's just the takeaway for me, where when you remove a season for them after COVID, it can have a mental effect on a lot of kids. It can also be it can take away. You're not in class as much. I feel like the whole world's been flipped upside down, and it's like the structure being ripped away.
Well, not
almost
only
takes
that,
away the seriousness of things.
But there's the social aspect as well that is completely gone almost. Maybe they're talking a little bit on video games, but that's about it.
Yeah. So but the good thing, like when you're on a football team, obviously you're together, you're communicating, you're practicing, everything like that. I don't know all the details of how everything's going down or what it was or exactly what the hazing was, but to have these players, having to deal with something like this now, right after COVID, and you're getting, you get football taken away again. I feel bad for a lot of those kids, but at the same time, you got to be held accountable for whatever actions when we figure out exactly what happened.
And Paul, let me jump in here too. Remember, after 9/11, there was the Department of Homeland Security was formed, and we came up with a saying, see something, say something.
Right, yeah.
And in this situation, if you're a member of the team, this is what comes to mind. You're a member of the team. You see something going on that probably shouldn't be going on.
Right,
Matter of fact, we're dealing with some unknowns.
Yeah.
But let's just say something happened.
Yeah.
So you see something happen. You weren't part of it, but you don't say anything. How does that whole dynamic play? Because you don't want to. Well, if you say something, then you're telling on the team.
Yeah.
There's so many issues here.
And I think that was one of the things where there was some things weren't said. I'm going to talk about details. Some things weren't said because there were certain didn't want some players to miss. Didn't want to hurt the team, basically. Right. And that is a real thing. You think about. If we can dive even deeper, when it comes to, what made things with law enforcement, where it's like, well, good cops, bad cops, and whatever that may be. But, if you see somebody doing something but then I kind of don't want to report my teammate because we're teammates and we're supposed to have each other's back. But that's just not the right way to go about things. We got to hold ourselves to a high standard all the time, especially as football players. Like I said, you got the spotlight on you, so conducting yourself in a certain way is super important. And
especially if there's any involvement with the managers of the team and things
that's 100%. And you know what? On every single team I've been on, that's been a huge. Well, especially when I was down at Pueblo, it was so huge. It was like, do not disrespect the managers. Do not talk to the managers a certain way. Do not try to talk to the managers. That's not something that you're doing. They are here to work, and we will let you go. We will kick you off the team. You will not have a scholarship. You mess around with stuff like that. So it's just it's really hard to regulate that at the high school level because it's high school, man. You just want to let them have fun. We're just playing to play. We're not playing for money. We're not playing for scholarships. Everybody gets to be on the team.
And above all, I hope that we learn some things and get some pieces in place to make this easier for kids.
Yeah.
Even if it's some sort of online form where they get that kind of solution. I don't know if that exists or anything.
Yeah, but I think the biggest thing is just that accountability. Right. When you're able to hold your whole entire team accountable, you're the star on the team. I know I don't want to jeopardize things for my team, so I don't get into things. Or I know that I've got to be the leader on the team. I've got to help my guys navigate when we're at this party or when we are somewhere else. I mean, there's plenty of times I was in college or in high school and there's a fight getting ready to break out, and I got to round up all of our college guys, so then all our football guys, so we can get out. Hey, we don't need to be here. You know, this is the party starts going, things start going wild. Because last thing you want to do is, there was a shooting or somewhere, and then football players were involved, and now it affects how our how we look, the image of our team. Right. Now we're thugs. Now we're this. Now we're that. You know, and that's the last thing you want to put your team at. And like I said, we're not indicting anybody. Still details are coming out, but it's just conduct is such an important thing. We've seen what happened with Penn State. We've seen what happened in so many different instances of being in a locker room and different things are going on. So it's super important, especially to reaching out to the young guys, a message to the young guys, be careful with the decisions that you make in high school. Mm-hmm. There's so much more of your life that's left. So just be careful what you do. I know that we all make mistakes, things happen, but you just always be thinking that the future, there's so much more for you in the future. So,
and you can learn from this.
Yeah, totally can learn from this. So that's a flag on the play. We're gonna stop there. We're gonna take a quick break. When we come back, we're gonna go under the hood. No, that was corny. But we're going to the hood. Thank you, guys.
You're listening to Pat and Go with Paul Browning on KPPF.
Please like and subscribe on YouTube channels, KPPF Radio 1040 AM and Pat and Go with Paul Browning. Don't forget that.
Oh, 100%.